our live stream team. Our musician, Tony Winters, our director of music, who has just given us his first performance on our organ. Yay. We strive to be a welcoming community to people of all ages and abilities. In the back of the sanctuary, near our ushers, you will find hearing assistance headsets, large print hymnals, children's books, busy bags, and drawing materials that families are welcome to bring to their seats. We have handicap accessible bathrooms on our lower level with elevator access over there. Please see the greeter if you need to use the restroom during the service. Now, as we prepare for worship, let us take a deep breath together, feeling the spirit of life and love that moves within, between, and beyond us all. I invite Reverend Rebecca to share a reading as we light our chalice, the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith.
So yesterday afternoon, we had the wonderful occasion of the ordination of the now Reverend Shiloh Hoffman, our previous ministerial intern. And the presence of Shiloh and that celebration is with us today, from the flowers arranged by our flower committee, Pat and Katie and Claire, to these words that I'm going to share, which were written yesterday during the service by the Reverend Misha Sanders. It's titled, Ordained for Shiloh and You and Me. I'm sitting here in a creaky old pew box beside beloved colleagues, some of them old friends, some of them brand new. My friend is being ordained into ministry. As my colleagues and I processed into the ceremony in our regalia, we passed by the crypts of ancestors in the cold stone parish basement, up the winding wooden stairs into a sanctuary festooned with colorful flowers and signs of radical welcome. There's a kid running around making us giggle during a solemn reading, and nobody seems to be planning to stop this nonsense as far as I can gleefully tell. And I remembered, oh, yeah, this is what ritual is for, to honor the old, to welcome the new, to celebrate the intersections of the two, which is now. Now, I remember. Now I remember. We show up for the ancestors and the descendants because we didn't light the chalice, and it will not die on our watch. And the newly ordained will fan it higher and hotter. Now I remember. For better or for worse, this great cloud of witnesses includes me too. And I'm going to keep showing up and cheering a little too loudly right in fancy church and everywhere else for you.
Now please rise as you are willing and able, and join in reading our congregation's covenant. The words are found in your order of service. As a free fellowship of this historic church, we unite to lift our hearts and open our minds to a larger reality, to accept, support, and encourage one another, to seek the wisdom in all religions, to cherish and sustain the web of life, and to strive for justice, compassion, and peace. Let us greet one another in this spirit of fellowship and peace. And as we remain standing in body or spirit, let us lift our voices in song for our first hymn. Tony, what is it? I don't have the number.
The number is 349.
349 in your gray hymnal.
We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation with bounty we share. Both sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise to the life that we bear. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage to thee, a true affirmation in joy and tribulation, when bound to human care and hope, then we are free.
You may be seated. And I invite our children and Spirit Circle team to come up to these front pews on your right for the message for all ages. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all today? Good. Yeah. If you guys have pictures, wonderful time to take them up. Yeah. And friends in the pews later in the service during our musical, during the hymn after the prayer, if you still have pictures, we can bring them up there. Pictures of our ancestors and family and beloved dead. And I wonder what we have in our mystery basket today. Oh, cool. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 volunteers, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Check it out. Will you take one of these? Can you tell us what it is?
A snowflake.
A snowflake, is it melting?
No.
No, because it's made out of paper. Can you hold it up high? Yeah. Okay, what else do we have in here? Do you know what that is? Nope. Can you hold it up high? See if anyone else. It's a rolling pin. Yeah, so let's be a little careful with that one, but you can hold on to it. What's next? What is that? A bow tie. Well, a necktie. Yeah, totally. And Maz, what's that one there? An ice skate. Not an actual ice skate, but a picture of an ice skate. So, friends, we are going to have a story called Badger's Parting Gifts. And there's going to be a point in the story where I mention each of these items. So listen close, and when you hear that item, you can carefully raise it up real high so some of the folks in the sanctuary can see it. Badger was dependable, reliable, and always ready to help when help was needed. He was also very old, and he knew almost everything. Badger was so old and so knowledgeable that he knew that he was going to die soon. Badger wasn't afraid of death. Dying only meant that he would leave his body behind, and his body wasn't working so well as the days had gone by. So Badger wasn't too concerned about that. But one day, as Badger was watching his friends Mole and Frog race down the hillside, he felt especially old and tired. Now, the following day, Badger's friends gathered anxiously outside Badger's door. They were worried because he hadn't come out to say good morning as he always did. Then Fox broke the sad news that Badger had died. And all of the animals that had loved Badger were very, very sad. That night, it began to snow. Winter had begun, and soon a thick layer of snow hid the animals' homes, where they stayed snug and warm during the cold months. The snow covered everything outside, but it did not cover the sadness that Badger's friends felt. And as spring grew near, the animals were able to leave their homes and they began to visit each other and talked about the days when Badger was still alive. Mole was now very good at using scissors, but he had not always been. And he told about a time when Badger had taught him how to cut snowflakes out of folded paper. Mole remembered the joy that he felt when making these beautiful snowflakes with Badger. Now, Frog had become an excellent snow skater. He recalled how Badger had helped him take his first slippery steps on the ice. Badger had gently guided him across the ice until he had gained enough confidence to glide out on his own. And Fox, who was an excellent dresser, remembered that when he was a young cub, he could never knot his tie properly until Badger showed him how. Badger had patiently taught Fox step by step until Fox could now tie every knot ever invented, and some that he had made up himself. And of course, his necktie was always perfectly knotted. And Rabbit remembered how Badger had given her his favorite recipe for gingerbread, and using a rolling pin to roll out the yummy dough until it was just the right thickness to cut out delicious rabbit-shaped cookies. Rabbit remembered the wonderful fragrance of gingerbread fresh from the oven that she shared with Badger. So each of the animals had a special memory of Badger, something he taught them that they could now do extremely well. Badger gave each of his friends this treasure, a parting gift that would become more special each time they passed that gift on to others. As the last of the snow melted, so did the heavy sadness on the animals. And whenever Badger's name was mentioned, someone remembered another story, and that made them all smile. Well, thank you for listening to this story on the day when we remember the gifts of our family and friends who have died in years or days gone by. Your grandpa died, me too. Yeah, that can be a heavy sadness and one with a lot of gifts also. So maybe throughout the day, you all later on or with your families can share some of the stories and the gifts that you remember. But for now, let's put these items, especially the rolling pin, back in the mystery basket as we sing our children out to their Spirit Circle program with Miss Paula on mindfulness. Words are in your order of service.
As you go, rejoice around you. As you go in peace. No one is with you always.
Through the sharing of our joys and sorrows, we create a sacred space where we are deeply present with one another. This is a time to briefly share the life milestones that lift your spirits in joy or hope, or the pains and losses that fill you with heartache. If you have a joy or sorrow to share, please come forward, share your name, and speak from the microphone. Alternatively, you can raise your hand and an usher will bring you a microphone. And if you're on Zoom, you can type it into the chat. As we begin our sharing, we light a candle of joy, knowing that a joy shared is a joy magnified. And we also light a candle of sorrow, knowing that a sorrow shared is a burden lightened. Let us open our hearts to one another. Representing all the joys and sorrows we hold silently in our hearts. May the light of these candles and the compassion of this community remind us that wherever we are on our journeys, we are each worthy of love and capable of loving.
Will you take a deep breath with me? Feeling that spirit of life, that spirit of love that moves within, between, and beyond us all. Breathe in, breathe out. Acknowledging the strength and vulnerability of your own body. Breathe in, breathe out. As we rest into a time of shared meditation here in the city silence. Will you lift your hearts and join me in the spirit of prayer, listening in these words for the language of faith most meaningful to you? Eternal presence, known by many names, known in many ways. We gather this morning at the turning point in the year that marks the midpoint between the equinox and the solstice. Here at this intersection of the seasons, some of us find ourselves at intersections in our lives, considering the paths forward, looking for how life calls us to move into the next season of our lives. In this time of lengthening nights, we notice the movement of light and dark. May we notice the gifts of both day and night as we realize and remember that we are parts of an interdependent web of life, a planet circling the sun, a part of a universe larger than any of us can fully grasp. We give thanks for the joys of our lives, for weddings and new beginnings, for the ordination and ministry of the Reverend Shiloh Hoffman. We give thanks for the ways in which we are part of one another's accomplishments, witnessing each other's joy, supporting one another in the challenges that are on the path that led to these momentous occasions. We hold in our hearts all of those who are struggling this season. We hold in our hearts the people across this country whose lives and livelihoods and material well-being is threatened and at risk by this ongoing governmental shutdown. We wish that all of those in our community might have enough food, enough housing, enough security in body. And we consider the ways in which we can reach out in generosity to care for one another. We hold in our hearts all of those who are grieving this season, and especially those who are in that first year of grief, where everything is touched by sadness. May there still be love found in the midst of loss, gratitude found in the midst of grief. May we hold one another in love and be open to the loving presence of one another. We pray this for love's sake. Amen, and blessed be. Our next hymn is number 18, What Wondrous Love. And I invite you, if you have not done so already, to come to our remembrance altar and place a photo or a memento of a beloved, a family or friend or hero who has died. We also have candles available, so you can light a candle in memory of someone in lieu of bringing a picture or in addition to bringing a picture. Let's rise together and sing number 18, What Wondrous Love.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, that takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow meant, with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing.
You may be seated. Our reading today is a poem by Mary Oliver titled Heavy. That time I thought I could not go any closer to grief without dying. I went closer, and I did not die. Surely God had his hand in this, as well as friends. Still, I was bent, and my laughter, as the poet said, was nowhere to be found. Then said my friend Daniel, brave even among the lions, "It's not the weight you carry, but how you carry it. Books, bricks, grief. It's all in the way you embrace it, balance it, carry it when you cannot and would not put it down." So I went practicing. Have you noticed? Have you heard the laughter that comes now and again out of my startled mouth? How I linger to admire the things of this world that are kind and maybe also troubled. Roses in the wind, the sea geese on the steep waves, a love to which there is no reply. Perhaps you have had a time that you thought you could not come any closer to grief without dying. What held you in that moment? What kept you going? Perhaps, like our hymn said, it was that gift of friendship. What wondrous love, When I was sinking down, friends gathered round. Perhaps a group of friends that was just with you in your loss. Or perhaps that wise friend like Daniel, Mary Oliver's friend, who said words of insight that helped you find your own wisdom to keep going. Or perhaps you were held by a tradition or a ritual that you learned from your family or a religious community or a community of friends. Maybe it's a formal ritual or a tradition that's been observed for hundreds, even thousands of years, or maybe something that you created yourself over time. I grew up in a multi-faith neighborhood in Philadelphia, and it had Christian, Protestant, Christian Catholic, and Jewish communities mostly. And many of my friends growing up were Jewish. And so I was surrounded by Jewish ritual because Judaism comes with a lot of ritual. And I remember a time as a child when my best friend's grandmother had died, her mother's mother. And our family brought us over to their house to be part of the Jewish tradition of sitting Shiva. That in the days after the death of a close family member, the family stays inside, covers mirrors with dark cloth, is there in intense mourning, and people come to them, perhaps bringing food, but arriving in silence. No words of condolence brimming on their tongues initially, and wait for the bereaved to start the conversation or not. So silence is held. Tears are perhaps shared, stories are shared, perhaps even laughter. We know that grief lasts beyond those first few days, the days of sitting Shiva, the memorial service or graveside service that's in the weeks or months following a death. We know that grief can be with us throughout our lives in new and familiar ways. And so we need rituals that hold us not just in those first days and months, but throughout our lives. In Judaism, there is a tradition of lighting a yahrzeit candle. And yahrzeit is a Yiddish word that roughly translates to year time. And in this tradition, you light a candle on the anniversary of a person's death. And the candle is designed to burn for 24 hours, a full night and a day. There's prayers that can be said with this as the candle is lit in the home. And here's a contemporary Jewish poem of a prayer by Barbara Rothstein. Why light for a yahrzeit? The yahrzeit light shines with the light of their souls. The yahrzeit light glows with the love they shared with us during their lives. The yahrzeit light dances with the laughter they brought us and brought out in us. The yahrzeit light allows us to look back and remember the best of the times that we shared with them. The yahrzeit light reminds us that although the dawn comes up without them, they want us to go on and carry out our shared goals. They brought light into our lives, and the yahrzeit light reminds us that they are counting on us to leave a shared legacy, to make this a better world. We must take this external light and rekindle the light in our souls, In doing so, they live with us as long as we live. Through us, may their light glow. Through us, may their light glow. Now, we live in a pluralistic society, a multicultural country, and we gather in a faith community that draws from many sources. So we have no one set of shared rituals that guides us through life's journey. Nonetheless, developing a spiritual practice of grief is so important, be it solo or communal or in the home. We are in a season of remembrance in several traditions. Here at this midpoint, that cross-quarter moment between the equinox and the solstice, there is the pagan holiday of Samhain from northeastern European background. They're the Christian commemorations of All Saints' Day yesterday and All Souls' Day today, and the Day of the Dead from Mexican tradition. So we are in a holy time for some of us. And that might be one set of rituals that holds you, encountering an annual time for remembrance, like the remembrance altar we built today. So we can build altars in time, rituals of remembrance on the annual anniversary of a death or a certain time of the year. And there's another way, several, but another I'll highlight today, another ritual of remembrance. Perhaps you do a variation of it already, consciously or unconsciously. And this is the tradition of remembering the gifts that are shared. As we heard in the message for all ages, an ice skate can be a doorway to memory. A rolling pin or favorite recipe can be a doorway to memory. And when we focus on the gifts that have been shared with us, it becomes a doorway of gratitude. I know I am surrounded by some of the items from my father and my grandparents. I sit at my father's desk when I'm writing my sermons. And at some point on Saturday, I take a moment to say, thank you. Thank you for this desk, for this wisdom. My mother every Christmas cooks a cookie recipe that came from her mother and her mother's mother. The handwriting on a note card kind of faded and decades of fingerprints around the edges, and bakes these cookies, and at some point during that day says, thank you, Grandma. So when we take these moments to pause as we use the gifts that we have inherited from those that have gone before, those little moments can be an opportunity for the spiritual practice of grief. How do you remember your beloved dead? What holds you in your time of grief? Let this be a season that you sit with those questions, that you light a candle or bake a favorite recipe as you consider the answers, as you take the time and hold the space to remember with love. And here in this sanctuary, I invite us into a time of prayers of remembrance. I'm going to invite Anne to come to our other pulpit, the pulpit that we inherited from the Wollaston Unitarian Society, paired with the pulpit from First Parish Church. And we'll begin with words of prayer by Kathleen McTeague, and then I'll invite you into 2 rounds of reflection. the calling of names, followed when I indicate by the sharing of gifts we remember. These words are called "They Are With Us Still" by Kathleen McTeague. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us,
it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived.
we share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion.
They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be.
Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared.
They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady.
Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts.
We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living.
I invite us here in this sanctuary to share the names of those who have lent us strength in our lives, those we remember today with love. I'll move my hand across the sanctuary, and when I'm reaching out in your general direction, lift up those names of our beloved and our ancestors we remember today.
Renee Giannoni, Joshua McKiernan, Joan Winters.
Peter Narcisse Gillette, Ruby Deering Phelps, Clark Orville Phelps, Ruthie Megan Gillette, William Narcisse Gillette, Louise Ione Gillette, Joseph Francis Cochran III, Kenneth Rudolph Carlson, Denise Geraldine DeMecker,
Bert Froom. Take a breath. In gratitude for these beloveds we carry with us. And take a few moments to remember the gifts that they have shared with you, the skills, the wisdom, perhaps the precious items that you carry with you when you remember them. And I invite you to share in a word or a phrase some of those gifts. Perhaps ice skating, perhaps courage. We'll start with this side of the sanctuary.
Unbridled joy.
And here on this side of the sanctuary, any other gifts from anywhere in the sanctuary we want to lift up today? May our lives be enriched by these gifts we have been given. May we have the love and the generosity to share our gifts with those around us and those who will follow us. Amen, and blessed be.
Our closing hymn this morning is one that you may not know. I find that the lyrics of this piece reflect very well on the way we are all connected to the world around us. And when I hear the lyrics of this song, I always tear up because I think of the ancestor voice. I will sing the first verse myself, and then I'll have you join in on all four, okay?
My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul as the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain.
Sing with me now. Song number 1068, Rising Green.
My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul as the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever my hands hold the weavings of time without end. My side as deep as the sea. Beating my heart sounds the measures of old that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the Lord, rushing on the farthest land. Wind in my song is the wind of my breast, and my love goes over the world. And my love, and my love, and my love goes over the land. My foot carries days of the old into new. Our dream shows us the way. Wondrous our faith set us deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day.
We drink from wells we did not dig, and we worship in a sanctuary we did not build. As a voluntary association, our church is sustained through the gifts of the members and friends of our congregation. Once upon a time, most folks used the offering plate to fulfill their pledges of financial support. And now we click on the church website or set up an automatic transfer from the checking account. But passing the offering plate was never just a practical exercise. It has always been a ritual. Even if your pledge is paid up, and I'm sure it is, it's worthwhile for you to bring just $1 to drop into the plate on Sundays as a ritual reminder of that form of love that we call generosity. Let it be a reminder that after our obligations to ourselves and our households and the communities to which we belong are fulfilled, we must still keep our capacity to give. The practice of giving, until it becomes second nature and first response, helps to bring forth the realm of love. And you can give online, if you're on Zoom, by going to ufpc.org and clicking on the donate button. And if this is your first time worshiping with us, please let the offering plate pass you by. Your presence today is your gift to us. And we hope you will join us following the service for the social hour in the parish hall. May the ushers come forward for the morning offering to support the good works of United First Parish Church. May it be joyfully given and know that it will be gratefully received. Here at United First Parish Church, we gather in many ways to nourish the spirit, nourish community, put our faith into action, and participate in the life and leadership of our congregation. You can read about our upcoming programs in your order of service. Today I'd like to highlight our writing group, which meets today at 12 o'clock in the parlor. We welcome everyone to join us in a free writing session and optional sharing of our words that pursue thinking on a theme. This is a non-critiqued, open-minded, generous group that encourages self-expression in a supportive setting You can come once or as often as you like, and it meets once a month. And please save the date, November 20th, which is a Thursday, at 7 p.m. Outside on our front steps, we will be holding our Transgender Day of Remembrance Vigil, which the Reverend Shiloh Hoffman helped us to begin 3 years ago. Transgender Day of Remembrance is an annual observance honoring those trans and non-binary beloveds who lost their lives to transphobic violence in the past year. We hope you will join us on the steps of the church to remember in love, resist together, and rise in hope. This event is organized by the Quincy Interfaith Network and co-hosted by United First Parish Church, Greater Boston Quincy Support Group, and Q Pride. After the vigil, there will be a reception in the parish hall for connection and resource sharing.
Let's return to that deep breath. And I invite you to rise as you are willing and able, and place your hand over your heart for our words of benediction. These words are the poem All Souls by May Sarton. Did someone say that there would be an end, oh, an end to love and mourning? What has been once so interwoven cannot be raveled, not the gift ungiven. Now the dead move through all of us still glowing. Mother and child, lover and mated, are wound and bound together and in flowing. What has been plaited cannot be unplaited. Only the strands grow richer with each loss, and memory makes kings and queens of us. Dark into light, light into darkness spin. When all the birds have flown to some real haven, we who find shelter in the warmth within, listen and feel new cherished, new forgiven, as the lost human voices speak through us and blend our complex love, our mourning without end. May we go in peace and go in love to be a blessing to the world. I invite you to turn towards the center aisle and offer one another a sung benediction as we extinguish the chalice.
The road is long and seeming without end. The days go on. I remember you, my friend. And though you're gone and my heart's been emptied, it seems I'll see you in my dreams. I got your old guitar here by the bed, all your favorite records and all the books that you read. And though my soul feels like it's been split at the seams, I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams. When all our summers have come to an end, I'll see you in my dreams. We'll meet and laugh and love again. I'll see you in my dreams. Yeah, up around the river bend, for death is not the end. I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams when all our summers have come to an end. I'll see you in my dreams. We'll meet and laugh and love again. I'll see you in my dreams. Yeah, up around the river bend, for death is not the end. I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams.